Welcome to Write That Down, a Probetus podcast. I'm your host, Matt Fisher. To my left, as usual, is Mr. Phil Irwin. And straight across from me is the one and only Mark Jensen. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
All right, how's everybody doing today? What's our day like today? Did we have a good day, bad day, in between day?
Today was really good. It's been crazy busy all this month. And is today the last day of the month? Is it the 30th today?
It is.
So this is our last go at the month, and sales have been through the roof. Wouldn't you say, Matt?
Yeah, I would say they've been great. As interim sales director, I'm going to take partial credit for it.
Yeah.
Very partial.
I'm still trying to figure out what day of the week it is.
Yeah, and now we're like in the past recording this. It's going to be in the future, so we'll just say it's the 30th of a month. Did you say the month?
I don't think I did.
It's the 30th of a month, which is a month that ends in 30, not 31. So
That'll narrow it down.
that'll narrow it down, and obviously not a 28 or a leap year 29. So it's one of those months.
Did you just reveal to our listening and watching audience that we may or may not be doing this live?
Well, they know.
I don't think they do. People don't think.
Wow.
They
That
don't
was a statement.
think.
Mark Jensen. So Phil just put a big statement out there. First off, though, I do want to talk about your beautiful shirt today. It's a Probetus multicolor shirt, and if you move around, the shirt actually moves as well with you. It's multicolored, multifaceted.
This is a new technology.
Yeah, it's something that, are we going to sell this someday?
Yeah, not only can we do like all over dye sublimated printing, we can now do real time, in the moment display of whatever graphic you want.
You know, there's somebody watching this right now that's going to be like, okay, I'm going to call Phil on Monday, and we're going to talk about this new product. And then when they call you, Phil, what are you going to say?
I'm going to say, if you buy this shirt, it's going to be green, and you're going to look down and you're going to say, wait a second, this is just green, but everyone else who's looking at it is going to see something different. It's kind of like the Emperor's New Clothes, that whole story.
Yeah.
Only it's a real life, because when people see you, they're going to be able to display, that exciting graphic, just like Mark
okay,
is
now
showing.
like in sales, like, so you've sold it now, and but then you're like, and it's the Emperor's New Clothes, who everybody's heard that, and then what is the Emperor's New Clothes? It's a bunch of what, Mark?
Fancy shirts like I'm wearing.
Oh my goodness. It's a bunch of lies, people.
Oh,
Your shirt says Probetus, and that does not mean lie about fancy clothes that aren't existent.
what does
I can't lie.
What does Probetus really mean, Matt?
It's Latin for honesty and integrity, Phil.
So honestly, this is a wonderful shirt I'm wearing.
Mark wore a green shirt today. Okay. So
I
this is
made
what
a mistake.
happened. This is what happened. We have a green screen behind us. There isn't anything behind us that's written out. Write that down. Matt Fisher, Mark Jensen, Phil Irwin. Can't see other words. Anyways, it's a green screen. But when you flip cameras, like I'm gonna flip to Mark, and Mark's wearing a green shirt, and now it's whatever it is. So, sorry, Phil, I just ruined your sale.
Mine is army green, my shirt, and that's not the key color that the computer is looking for.
I'd call that. Would you call that? Would you call it army green?
I was thinking it was maybe a little bit darker sage.
I was thinking more of a sage.
Is it really?
Sage.
Yeah.
Man, my whole world is a lie, just like the Emperor's New Clothes. I'm gonna go take a break.
stay.
But I think it is kind of cool. We're all in like the t-shirt mode today.
Yeah.
And we didn't even plan this.
This is actually my third shirt I wore today. First of all, because it's 90 degrees out on this random. Now we're in a month that it's 90 degrees in North Dakota.
Yeah.
So we've really narrowed it down. But truly, this is my third shirt today, and I sweat through a couple of them. Made some uniform changes. I don't know.
You're kind of like Superman.
In what way?
Just change.
Pretty much just because of the way I change clothes.
Yep. You just go in that phone booth and boom.
All right. Well, let's move on. Now that I'm Superman, I'm going to take it as a compliment. Thanks, Mark Jensen. We're going to talk about Write That Down and what this is, because we're going to do a recap as to why we have this show and what it is and why we're doing it. So a quick recap is, in college, I used to watch a movie all the time called Val and Wilder with other bunch of movies, and one of my favorite lines from that movie is when the Van Wilder character would say, write that down. And he would have Taj with him, and Taj would write that stuff down. And Phil and Mark started about a year and a half ago. And Phil would write that down when I actually said that movie quote. And nobody in my entire life ever wrote that down. So now we've cataloged some of these amazing, wonderful, high-level quotes that I've said over the last year and a half. And we pick one quote every month. And then every episode, and we talk about it. So let's get it right into what that quote is today. And the quote we have for today is, if I know one thing. I'm going to stop there because I said one thing, and now Phil's got this notebook with a bunch of things. So I've already said to Phil, I know one thing. So now is the stuff we've talked about the last 5 episodes junk? Probably, because I only know one thing. If I know one thing, it is that the Chinese can make things. So that's the quote. Now, I don't know why I would say that, because usually when I say these things, I black out. And then Phil, this is part of the episode where Phil says why I could have possibly said something so deep and inspiring and motivational. Ready to go.
Yeah. So I'm new to promo. A lot of the things that we sell are made in many different places throughout the world. And this particular project I was working on was super unique. If I remember right, it was a custom, like the Mardi Gras beads style necklaces that are just like little spheres, right? Mm-hmm. But they have all these other different types now that you can get. They have different, sporting equipment or guitars or whatever. And I had a special request for a special color. It had to be football, and something like that did not exist in the way that the client asked for it. And Matt said, hey, that's no problem. Did you know, Phil, that we can create stuff custom, like per your specs, if we do it overseas? And I'm like, I had no idea you could do that. Is that how all this random stuff gets made? And you're like, yes. And then you dropped the wisdom. You said, if there's one thing I know, is that the Chinese can make things.
Yeah. So I guess that we've found out that Chinese make things.
They do.
And I know that. What do you think that even means, Mark? Like, is there any deeper wisdom that you could glean from that in the way that you live your life every day?
Well, let's see. It's pretty much probably true. Unfortunately, a lot of things are made overseas. So,
Yeah.
What about toilet paper?
where's it made?
Yeah, I mean, like, so we had the toilet paper shortage of April 2020 when the world went crazy, and then everybody decided to buy toilet paper. Is that made in China too?
No, usually you have to be in a place that has a lot of trees.
So now China doesn't have trees.
No, I'm saying that there are many domestic places that have trees. Trees are like the ultimate renewable resource. A lot of times people get up in arms. Sorry, y'all gonna be mad at me, but like trees grow pretty fast, especially of the fir variety. And so if you're in a place that is heavily forested with fir trees, take northern Minnesota as an example. There's paper mills there. You can very easily, and multiple bumper crops within your own lifetime, get a ton of these trees and make paper products. They're renewable, they're compostable, and trees are good for the environment.
Okay, so Mark.
Oh, I thought the toilet paper was made in the woods because there's a commercial without giving the brand the bears. So I thought the bears made the toilet paper in the woods. You know?
I think he's I think it's Charmin. I'm just gonna say it.
Charmin sponsoring this episode of Write That Down. Thank you, Charmin.
Can you imagine being at the marketing meetings for a company like Charmin, coming up with,
and they're like, we're gonna do a bear.
we're gonna do
And
better.
he's gonna be in the woods. And this,
Well, you know what they say? The bear in the woods.
Yeah, that is probably where they got the idea.
I agree too. Okay, so
But short answer, no. I believe they make toilet paper domestically here in the United States. That's my answer.
I don't disagree. I'm sure they do, and we make a lot of things in the United States, and China makes a lot of things. Obviously, as I've stated, I know they make things, but there was the toilet paper shortage. We're in a point in our world right now where there's shortage of a lot of stuff. We got through this COVID thing, and then where everybody was kind of stayed in their homes, didn't do things, there were no events and that sort of thing, and then the world opened up again, and now it seems like there's not things anymore.
Yeah, I think a ton of people are waiting on the supply shortage that is specifically coming out of China. You hear about like crates getting delayed and stuff getting made, it's manufactured, it's sent to the United States, and then they can't get it off the crate because they're waiting for a quarantine period or whatever it is. But I don't know, it's funny because obviously their country is set up with a ton of manufacturing type plants and factories, right? And like, there's a lot of plastics, a lot of electronics, a lot of textiles. Like, they can do it.
You're naming a lot of things.
Yeah, they can do it at such a scale where things become affordable, and I think that is why a ton of those sorts of items are made there. And in the U.S., like, it's funny because I see a lot of like formed plastics. There's a lot of formed plastic, like cups, frisbees, Rubbermaid, things like that are manufacturing made in the U.S. Are there other things that are made stateside that are utilized regularly in our industry or even outside?
I don't know. I feel like in our industry, there's a lot of things that say made in the USA. You can get T-shirts made in the USA. You can get like the plastic stuff you said. A lot. Some textile stuff like bags and those sorts of things. I don't see a lot of drinkware made in the USA. I mean, unless it's plastic, of course, but like metal drinkware, that sort of thing. I don't see a lot of technology made in the United States. But again, maybe that's an opportunity with this shortage that, some entrepreneurship will open up and we'll be able to do that. I don't know. What do you think?
It's probably more so I'm thinking finding the workforce. It's like here, I just don't know if a lot of people are going to want to be working in that type of factory atmosphere, where I think that's our biggest challenge, why a lot of things are probably made overseas. People overseas are willing to work in that type of industry.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, though.
I really hope we see like a little bit of a shift, because I'm not against globalism in the sense that like there are certain places, right, that have their own inherent like natural resources, right? So you have to go to the place that either has the thing or even has the expertise. And so I think there's plenty of room for that. Like, I want to go to the artisan that is most skilled in that area to get my thing. But I think that what this last year has taught a lot of people is that there's some value to self-sufficiency, just in a general sense, like even in your personal life, your business life. Like, if you can get what you need and take care of yourself on a small scale and do it, at a larger scale, you're just going to be better prepared for those unexpected events like we saw last year.
Sure.
But when they talk shortages, what amazes me, things like the bars and restaurants, they said there's a shortage on chicken wings.
No, that's nuts. And I've heard that too.
Because it's like, did the chickens just retire?
You bring up a good point. I don't, out of the things, like obviously China makes chickens too, like every continent and country and municipality makes.
They don't make them.
They don't make the
they
chickens.
Take care
they
of them.
breed the chickens.
They help them birth.
Yes, the egg, the incubation, the birthing, all of the chickenness happens. But then the chicken gets killed, and then we make the wings. And Mark's right. Like, Buffalo Wild Wings is out of, like, I saw it on the door when I went there the other day. It was like, we will only sell wings on certain days for this. I'm like, you're Buffalo Wild Wings. Like, and I get it. You got wings in beer and sports, but wings is first. So, how did that affect you when you saw this wing shortage?
Well, it just makes me wonder, have we really been eating chicken wings?
Oh, boy. Tell me expand on that, please.
I don't know. I'm just saying maybe it isn't real chicken. Dead silence. Where's the sound effects?
No, I don't know if this is the episode where the sound effects come on.
Okay.
It might be.
But yeah, I just think, it's kind of strange that all of a sudden, like I said, you hear that. And it's just, you don't think of, maybe those are things, you just don't think there's ever going to be a shortage of.
The food stuff doesn't make sense to me either, because like throughout this last year, a lot of these places were closed, right? Restaurants, forced to be closed in places all around the country. So if anything, they should have had a surplus of these items ready to go, because go ahead.
I heard a theory about the chicken wings is that because everybody was in their homes and they were ordering a lot of takeout, that was like a number one takeout thing. It was wings. It was like easy, throw it in the air fryer. A lot of people got that as takeout, so they had a shortage. Well, they had a mass rush for wings, and then we just like as we previously talked about chicken egg incubation. Like that's not we're making chickens. There's a process to that, so we need to catch up. So I think we're in like a catch-up situation.
It's called gestation.
Not ketchup, because I don't think chicken wings and ketchup is good. Fries, yes. I think dipping your chicken wings is good, but ketchup, I don't think so.
This might be a little bit coarse, but do you think there's a correlation between people ordering a lot of chicken wings and having a toilet paper shortage?
Oh. But what came
I'm
first?
so sorry.
Yeah.
The chicken or the toilet paper? Wow.
But I do think
We've
those
got- we've
shortages,
gotten deep.
when people get on that, I just remember even back in the flood of 97, it's like people stocked up on stuff, and I think, you start thinking it's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to need that. And like you said, probably the same thing, like you said, with, it's crazy, it is back to like chicken wings, people stock up, it's something easy, and you hit that panic mode. And of course, as consumers, you hear somebody say that, and it's like, oh my gosh. Because I remember even when this whole thing started, I was out at one of the stores and people are like buying toilet paper and all the shelf. And I ran into a friend and I'm like, should I hit panic mode?
Should I?
What should I,
be buying toilet paper?
And then as you start seeing it going off the shelves, you're just like, should I be buying?
I agree.
I think there's a ton of opportunity, like you mentioned earlier, for the entrepreneur, like those folks that have sensed a vacancy in the market, whatever the product may be, and if they can get their stuff together and start making these products domestically here in the United States, like, man, oh man, like it's going to be necessary. And even in art industry, like the last few weeks, we've been running into a lot of, I'm just going to call it inventory issues, right? So this is not necessarily a Probetus problem. This is, our tried and true suppliers who we reach out to for, let's just use the trucker baseball hat, right?
Oh yeah, the Richardson 112.
The Richardson 112. Everybody who's anybody and who also plays softball knows what the Richardson 112 is. And they just can't make these things fast enough. They cannot make them. And those guys make the caps overseas. They're not made
They
in
do.
the United States.
It's definitely an overseas thing.
And so they're waiting for these things to show up, and it takes them months to get the shipments in. And as soon as they arrive stateside, they are spoken for, and you just kick the problem down the road a little bit further. But I mean, let's start a cap company, Matt.
Richardson. This episode is also brought to you by Richardson Cap. Richardson 112, best cap.
But
We have a lot of good caps, by the way. Richardson's a good cap.
Yeah, but we've had to move on to others. You know what I mean? To fill that need. And so I'm saying, let's make a USA-made trucker cap. We're going to do it right here in Grand Forks, North Dakota. We can meet that need, and it would be crazy.
Yep.
Mark's like, I'm not going to go into business with you.
I'm like, I don't think I'm going to be making caps.
No, but I mean, you brought it up before, like the labor force, the materials, and all that stuff. It's like, okay. I've been thinking about this, about like this, China makes things and stuff. And when we walked in, I don't know how it came up, but we were talking about Star Trek. Oh yeah, because Paul got this virtual reality thing that I think he stole from somebody, but he's going to give it back.
No, it's a giveaway. He's just using it before he gives it away.
Is that not? That's not stealing. It's
No, you're testing the product to make sure that the end user is going to like it.
okay. Sorry, Paul. I didn't. Yeah, you're in trouble now. So we're talking about this stolen product that Paul's got, and we brought up Star Trek because they have the
holodeck.
The holodeck. Yes, thank you. So also on Star Trek they have what makes the food. The what? Do you remember what it's called? Starts with an R.
Oh, I don't know.
The replicator. So in their rooms, so that'd be like Jean-Luc would go into his study just off the deck, and he'd say, tea hot, Earl Grey, and it'd go, and then he'd have his tea, and it'd be hot, and it'd be Earl Grey. So they're like on a spaceship in the middle of nowhere, and they can get whatever they want like that. I want filet with asparagus and a béarnaise sauce. Boop, there it's done. And we have to wait months for a Richardson 112.
Well, it's kind of like, Meet the Jetsons, George Jetson. Look at the little robot made. What was her name again?
Rosie.
Rosie.
Yeah.
Rosie.
She could do anything.
Rosie. And can we just quickly, can we just agree that Jean-Luc Picard is the best Star Trek captain? Can we do that? Can I
Like with our mass audience that we have with thousands of people watching us, I don't know if I could go out that far and just ruffle that many feathers.
Patrick Stewart is such a great actor.
He is very versatile. I can't disagree with you, but I mean there've been a lot of captains, and he's top two for me.
So good.
For sure.
Well,
Mark,
of course.
did you ever watch
everybody's
Star
top
Trek,
two.
Mark?
No, I watched Lost in Space. That's how old I am. And I'm just kind of...
Star Trek, I mean, there's been Star Trek since the
I know.
60s.
I know, but you know what? I was one of those kids. I was busy outside playing, not sitting in front of a television.
Yes, I know.
But you know, even like when Phil says, "Can we do that?" You know what? I am not going to sign anything or agree without contacting the manager of our group, Savannah.
Oh, yes.
Because I'd hate to get Savannah upset. So
Yeah, we wouldn't want to do that. I've already, had 2 sponsors that I've just thrown on the air.
We're sponsoring Charmin and Buffalo Wild Wings today.
Oh, I forgot about Buffalo Wild Wings. Holy smokes. And then we've got Richardson Cap.
yeah.
We better be getting lots of free stuff after this episode. That's all I got to say.
But sorry to interrupt you with Jean-Luc Picard being the best captain. But
Okay,
you were talking
please.
about the replicator.
Yeah.
And so I was just wanted you to finish your thoughts on the replicator.
No, I'm just like, so we can say whatever we want and then it shows up. And when does that happen? I get that this Star Trek is not real and it's in the future, but if you can dream it, you can build it, right?
well, I think a little bit. You know, some of us too, though. You know what? Even though we're waiting, it's kind of brought us back to reality. You know, now everything it seems like is like instant. You know, they want everything instant, boom, boom, boom. You know, where I think when you think about it, it's like we've just lived in the last few years where everything's that quick turnaround. When you think about it, you know what? This is how we lived maybe 10 years ago. We had to wait for things. And I think, you know, for us as a society and of people, we're not used to that anymore because, you know what? Like, I remember, like, taking a picture of the film. You know, it's like you had to take your 24 or 36 pictures and, you know what? You send them off to, you know, wherever it developed. And, you know what? It maybe takes 7 to 10 days. You know what? And we lived a normal life with that. And then all of a sudden, you know, technology has evolved and, you know, we're just used to like, boom, everything's instant. And when it's not, we're like, whoa. Right. But if you stop and think about it, 10 years ago, we waited.
Good point. I mean, it's taught me a lot of patience and, you know, having to communicate that the reality is we have to wait, you know, to a lot of our customers. Matt, you're a movie buff. You mentioned Van Wilder. Did you watch Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yeah, it was a good movie.
George Clooney.
Great. George Clooney.
So-
good music. Great
One of my
story.
favorite lines
That
from
was
that.
the Coen brothers, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite lines, and I joke with my dad about this all the time, is he is in the, you know, with the, I guess the general store, right? And he's trying to get his Dapper Dan pomade, and he says, "We're out of Dapper Dan. I can have it in a couple of weeks." And he says, "We can get FOP." And he is, I don't want FOP, darn it, is what he yells. I'm a Dapper Dan man. He's like, "Well, I can order it for you. We'll have it in a couple of weeks." And George Clooney iconically says, "Well, ain't this place just a geographical oddity? 2 weeks from everywhere." And that is the world that we're living in now, where
is.
like 2 weeks used to be the standard turnaround time for a lot of the stuff that we do, a lot of the products that are out there. And now it's stretching to 3. We're at a month for a lot of the stuff that's out there. Because again, as soon as it arrives stateside, it's getting snatched up. You've got to, you know, wait your place in line. And so I don't know, Mark's onto something in that we have to almost reteach ourselves what our expectations are. And so maybe it's not the Amazon speed anymore, because let's admit it, like Amazon Prime, they never get you anything in 2 days anymore.
I don't know about that.
No, it's
Amazon,
true.
Amazon sponsored.
Here's what
Thank you,
happens.
Amazon.
Here's what Amazon, this is the game they play, and this is why I canceled my Prime membership a couple years ago.
Wow.
You'd place your order, and they would not ship until 1 or 2 days later. And then the 2-day shipping would kick in. So you've now waited 3 to 4 days to receive your items, and they can legally say, "Oh, you got your items in 2 days, just like we promised." No, I didn't. You let my order sit there on the desk for 2 days before you even responded to me.
All right.
I'm
Well,
done with you, Amazon.
I'm just gonna say mine shows up in 2 days because I'm on a special Amazon list, as Amazon Prime list, and I.
You're on the same list as everyone
I
else.
apologize for anything he's saying. Like,
There is no special list.
please take
You
our
live in North
forgiveness.
Dakota. There is no list for
The
you.
geographical center of the world. Special list and Amazon. Thank you.
They ship it to USPS in 2 days, and then you get it in a month.
Exactly. See, even our producer Paul, he knows what I'm talking about.
Boy, we have some hecklers here.
We do, Mark. Goodness.
It's like the peanut gallery.
Yeah. Even Amazon. Have you been on Amazon recently?
I have not.
Okay, so as a non-Prime member, I peruse it on occasion.
Okay.
Nothing is in stock. Nothing.
So you're saying Amazon is not even immune to this?
They're dealing with the same crap we are. Absolutely.
Well, I guess we're like Amazon then.
Yeah, we offer free shipping.
Oh, yes, we do. Good plug. That's best plug of the day. Probitas Promotions. If you are listening to this in the year 2021, we're offering free ground shipping to one location. Potentially in the future as well. We don't know yet.
Nope.
No, yeah, we
Top
probably
secret.
It is. All right. Well, before we go today, I do want to ask one question of each of you. With this shortage that's happening around the world of everything and all things that are made, because everything is made in China, what is one thing that you are missing out on or missing because you have been waiting so long, or don't want to order it or can't order it because it's just gone? Do you have anything that you can think of?
Absolutely. I have one.
All right,
I'm ready to go.
go.
So I have not been an avid cyclist in my life. I've had bikes on occasion. And a year or so ago, my children got involved in BMX racing. Super exciting. Well, they did so right prior to the pandemic. And let me tell you, you cannot get yourself a bicycle very easily. I mean, there's some giant factories that make bicycle frames, and they're all located in China. And they make frames for a ton of the brands that you are aware of. You know, the nice stuff, the not nice stuff, it doesn't matter. They're making these frames for all sorts of different levels and qualities of company. And it was so difficult to find an actual BMX geometry bicycle for these kids. And I had the money, I was ready to buy. And so I ended up finding some that were a year or so old, you know, holdovers from a previous year. And I snagged them. But holy cow, getting replacement parts and any of these specialized things, because BMX is not huge like the racing, like mountain bikes are probably more popular, cruiser bikes, that sort of thing. But you saw that in retail. Like you'd go to some of the local shops, Shields, you know, some of these places that carry them, even specialized shops, like there's nothing on the floor. They don't have bike related products. And I tell you what, I have been snatching up anything I can find because still there's a shortage. Stuff is not getting made quickly enough.
To recap, bikes,
Bikes,
sad children.
sad children.
Mark, go.
You know, really, honestly, there's nothing that I feel like I need to survive. You know what I mean? Maybe it's just because that back to I just have patience. I know that's kind of the way the world's going to be, you know? But then again, I was fortunate maybe have been through that. You know what I mean? It's like, so I'm not like, there's nothing that I'm like, oh my gosh, if I don't have it, I'm not going to survive. You know? You just figure out the next thing for me. It's like, just personally, yeah, there's nothing that I'm like, absolutely need. I have everything that I need right now to survive.
Awesome. Recap. Elder of the group lives through the Great Depression. All right. Myself, I finally, after 15 years, ordered golf clubs. And the golf clubs I got 15 years ago were 7 years old. So obviously I'm not good at golf. But I wanted new clubs, went to...
Does the math work out? You got the golf clubs
15 years ago, and they were 7 years old when I got them.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
so they're ancient.
So 15 plus 7.
Yes,
Got it.
exactly. So I went to see Brian at the golf center, and he's like, yep, awesome. Got the fitting, did it all. It was great. And it's like, okay, when I get my clubs, it's like 6 to 8 weeks. I'm like, are you kidding me? He's like, yeah, it used to be like 3 to 4 days, and now it's 6 to 8 weeks. So I'm still waiting in the unnamed month in 2021 that is hot and has 30 days in it.
What brand did you get and where are they made?
I got Mizuno, and I'm assuming China.
Okay.
No, maybe Japan. It might be Japan. Either way, it's they're far away and not here. All right. Well, that does our show for the day. I appreciate you guys as usual with all of the wonderfulness that you bring to this this show and everything that it is, and I have a great time every time. And if you need any swag or swag related accessories, please reach out to any of us at the Probetus Promotions team. You can find us online at probetuspromo.com.